Good morning and welcome. Today is what day? I think it's 6/7. Happy 6/7 day. My name is Jonathan and I'll be your MC today. I'm pleased to welcome those here in our community center and those joining on Facebook Live and YouTube to Kansas City Oasis. Since 2014, Oasis has been the premier secular alternative to faith-based communities. We welcome all, regardless of belief or non-belief, race, gender, sexual orientation, identity, or any other trait. We feel the human experience is better when shared, and we're pleased that you've chosen to share it with us this morning. Here at Oasis, our mission statement is to educate members in the values of humanism, provide social support to the community, produce educational programs for the general public, and engage in acts of charitable service. For today's program, our feature speaker will be Alyssa Carter of KCMO Angels on transforming foster care. Our musical guest is Jack Summers, and our community moment will be Mark Mendon. Jack is a songwriter from Weston, Missouri. Jack's childhood memories include his father reading him Bob Dylan lyrics like bedtime stories and going to the Walnut Valley Music Festival. As he grew up, he started writing lyrics of his own, and eventually he won the Walnut Valley Songs for a Better World songwriting contest. Jack's music is story-centric Americana that covers everything from the death of a West Virginia coal town to the death of the American Mall. In 2021, Jack released his debut album. In 2023, he won the Caravelle New Folk Songwriting Contest and released his second album in 2025. He's played everywhere from a honky-tonk in Austin to the backwoods of Awandaw, South Carolina, to Iowa's oldest barn. Please welcome Jack Summers.
Hello, it's good to see you guys. I'm happy to be back here. And I promise I won't be as rambly as I usually am, but I'll ramble a little bit to get started. When I'm not doing this, I am a teacher's assistant in a special education classroom. And my favorite part is getting to know the kids, and by the end of the year, you kind of, all the kids in your class, you kind of have them down a little bit. You know what they like, what they don't like, how to interact with them, and one cool thing is when they get to know you. This year, I had a kid who loved the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." And I sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" every time I pushed her on the swing. And she figured out that I love baseball. And so anytime she would see anything related to baseball, there were like baseball stickers or like a baseball bat in a video, she would be like, "Look, baseball, like check this out, Mr. Summers, it's your thing." And then other kids, whenever they would see baseball, they were just like programmed to be like, "Look," and so by the end of the year, I had 2 or 3 kids in the class who would just, anytime baseball would be mentioned or come up, they'd be like, "Mr. Summers, baseball." And on the second to last week of school, a kid drew me the Royals logo and said, "Let's go Royals." And now the Royals suck, but the logo is still super cool. But this song is called "Lovin' Baseball." It's a sad song about baseball. Annie drives an old car. It runs on borrowed time. Yeah, she never knows as if she'll make it home. She's working 5 to 9. Annie stops at Quick Trip to buy herself a drink. She sits down on the curb to whistle with the birds. Finally she can think. Well, that Monte Carlo wouldn't run much better if every rusted part had been replaced. 'Cause only 3 things in this life can last forever: memories, love, and baseball games. He used to take her phone calls and to dinner twice a week. But now that things have changed, nothing feels the same. They hardly even speak. Annie takes her ring off, runs her fingers through her hair. She whispers to herself, it's the bottom of the 12th and I ain't going anywhere. Well, sometimes this life will deal you nasty weather, but it's best to keep on dancing in the rain. 'Cause only 3 things in this life can last forever: memories, love, and baseball games. The Royals beat the Red Sox on the night when they first met. Sometimes Annie puts that game on, and they both cheer on George Brett. And Johnny looks into her blue eyes, then he looks back at the game. Sometimes her face feels so familiar, but he can't recall her name. Well, now some folks say that nothing lasts forever. A gentle breeze can snuff the brightest flame. But Annie knows as long as they're together, they'll have love and baseball games. They'll have love and baseball games. Thank you so very much. Thank you for letting my voice warm up a little bit, too. So after that song, I always like to open a pack of baseball cards. It really doesn't play that well on stage, but it helps me reset my mind a little bit. Especially when you can't get them open. That's the worst. Oh, maybe some scissors would be good, if you have some. Oh, no, here we go. I was like, if you have scissors on you. Okay, we look for the Royals and we look for Shohei Ohtani. Up first, we got Mike Trout from the Angels. Adley Rutschman from the Orioles. If you'd like the Orioles card, you can have it. Oh, we got Thomas Sagassi. I don't know him. He's a rookie. And then last one, Michael Bush. All right. Maybe someday I'll pull a card that's worth something, and I can stop playing music. But I never will. Okay, this song's called The Middle of Everything. I was once a Union soldier, marching into war, with my rifle on my shoulder. I dreamed of Illinois. My cavalry was called in to fight at Gettysburg. As we marched into the devil's den, I said my final words. My only regret is that I didn't get to buy her a wedding ring. But I'll go down standing in the middle of everything. Well, I came back as an outlaw, robbing dime stores, banks, and trains. I made my way to Arkansas from the Oklahoma plains. The sheriff and his posse put a bounty on my head. 200 if you caught me, 150 if I was dead. A clerk shot me down in a nowhere town outside of Eureka Springs. Found guilty of standing in the middle of everything. Well, one day I came back again in the bottom of the 8th. The manager called to the pen so I could get the safe. Well, I stood there on the rubber and stared down DiMaggio. I let go of my cutter as hard as I could throw. But the Yanks cleared the bench when the pennant was clinched on the back of old Joe's swing. And I was there standing in the middle of everything. I was playing for the tip jar down at the Hooch and High when the old man who was tending bar asked me to step outside. He said that he remembered me from a life so long ago. We sailed across the 7 seas to the Gulf of Mexico. Well, he said, I thought you'd be an astronaut, a preacher or a king. But here you are standing in the middle of everything. Well, I followed back my footsteps to where it all began. I wrestled with the retrospective history of man. And in a rest stop east of Paxico, written on a bathroom stall, I found out what I need to know about the meaning of it all. It said, don't waste your time trying to find the right lines. Just open your mouth and sing. And be happier standing in the middle of everything. Be happier standing in the middle of everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack. That was really nice. Okay, announcements. Birthdays this week. June 8th is Liz Craig and Gary Blakely. June 10th, Rhonda Warren. And anniversaries, June 9th is Adrian Anderson and Clark Johnson. Does anybody... Are we missing anybody? Does anybody else have a birthday or celebration? No? Okay. The KC Swingsters invite you to a series of East Coast Swing. Beginners will learn the fundamentals with Will, while Lexi leads the main lesson as an intermediate class focused on building confidence, connection, and style. Come learn, dance, and be part of the KC Swing community. Tuesdays through July 14th. Cost is $15 per class, and no partner is needed. Recovering from Religion hosts a support group meeting here in this building on the second Thursday of the month, which is this Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. Next Sunday is the Leavenworth Family Pride. We need volunteers. The requirement is 3 hours next Sunday. It'll include free food. Please reach out to Denise Decker, who's currently the only one that will be tabling, so we need your help. Join us for game night on Thursday, June 18th from 7 to 9. Bring your favorite game or join one of the many that will be here. In 2 weeks, join us for Shakespeare in the Park on Friday, June 19th. This year will be Macbeth. Attendance is free, though donations are greatly appreciated. Gates open at 6. The show starts at 8. And help us raise funds to mount our projector from the ceiling and install a screen for better visibility of slides during our meetings. We raised $550 last February towards this project. Scan the code for a dedicated link to donate through Zephy, or if Venmo, mention projector in the comment box, please. You can keep up to date on what's going on at KC Oasis by signing up to receive our weekly email newsletter. Go to kcoasis.org and look under the What's Happening for the newsletter sign up, or you can scan this QR code. You can also go to our upcoming events page on kcoasis.org and scroll to the bottom of the page, and you can subscribe to add all of our events to your calendar. You can also delete the ones you aren't attending. New events will automatically be added for you. Next is our Community Moment by Mark Mendon. Community Moments are an opportunity for a member of our community to present on a topic of their choice during a Sunday gathering. For today's Community Moment, we'll hear from Mark. 3 words to describe them are obsessive, incognito, and unstoppable. And if they had a warning label, it would be, do not attempt to come between me and an unfound ammo can.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Pride. If you haven't been to Kansas City Pride, everybody go down and check it out. We are tabling down there, so you can stop by our table and say hello. Denise will be there today, right? No? Yeah. And like they said, we really do need volunteers for next week, so everybody, it's a great opportunity. Today I'm going to talk to you about caching. Getting muggled is... So non-cashers, we call them muggles. We got it from Harry Potter, I guess. How to hang around a playground without looking like a criminal, but it's very difficult. Where do I push this? Oh, nope. All right. So geocaching is a global adventure. It's outdoor recreational. It combines GPSs and satellites to find just hidden things out in the wild. It's pretty much run by the geocachers, hide them, and it's all just whatever you want to do. Here's the definition. Geo, Greek for earth, and cache is French meaning safe hiding place. And so what a geocache is, these are kind of just the basics. You can see that this circle here, that is a geocache. So it's camouflaged and it's just hidden out in the woods somewhere. You need a durable container. It must be weather tight to protect contents from the weather. And believe me, geocachers are really kind of nitpicky. So if you put a cache out there and it's got like a wet log, everybody that logs your cache is going to say, needs maintenance. Well, if it needs maintenance, that means you're going to have to go out and check it and make sure it's still there. So you want to make sure your log stays dry. More about the logbook. It's kind of the heart and soul of geocaching. A lot of geocachers say the only rule in geocaching is you must sign the log. Sally's a big stickler on making sure we sign the log. So every time I go out to find the cache, when I get back to the car, she says, "Did you sign the log?" And I always say yes. So don't tell her, though. Geocaches, the smaller ones and larger ones, they contain, people will put in trinkets, tradable items. I'll talk here in a minute about path tags and customized geocaching swag that people make. So if you take something out of a geocache, you're supposed to put something back in the geocache. It's great for kids. Kids just love, there's a lot of little toys and stuff in them. Here I'm going to talk about some people make dog tags with serial codes, and you can log those. Sometimes on people's cars you'll see a little, looks like a dog tag, but it's a sticker. And when you spot a car, you can log that, and those people will know that you saw their car, I guess. There we go. This is just about the types of the geocaches. The traditional, back when geocaching started, actually the first geocache was just a can of beans that was hidden. It was just literally a can of beans. It's since disappeared, but the oldest geocache is called Mingo. It's out in the middle of Kansas. It's been there for, I don't know, since geocaching started. It's just in the middle of nowhere. There's really nothing special about it, but everybody wants to log Mingo. It's like the holy grail of geocaching. We have logged it, so. There's also the traditional cache is you just go to the spot, find the cache, and that's the end of that. There's also multi-stage caches where you have to find one cache. It'll give you a code or directions to find the next cache, and then so on and so on. And there'll be like different stages, so it'll take a little longer to do that. Mystery caches and puzzles, kind of self-explanatory. You'll have to solve a riddle or some complex task in order to move on to the next stage of it. So caches are pretty much hidden everywhere. Some parks, you have to get permission from the parks. Some parks don't allow them for some reason. They're worried about damage to the environment, which geocachers are very good about not causing damage. They'll let fishermen go out and throw their lines and all their garbage all over, but they won't let you put a geocache out there. So, there's a special kind of cache called a CITO. It's trash it, or I don't know what it stands for. I think cash in, trash out. So it'll be an organized group event where everybody shows up and we'll clean up a park or do something like that. There's a lot of social events that are group caches. Oh, this is just about different sizes. There's micros, which are like extremely small. They're just like little tiny magnetic things, and they'll be just hidden on like, I don't know. My least favorite kind of caches are the ones that are on like a big artillery piece in front of a museum or something, because there's a million, and train cabooses. People put them on train cabooses, and they drive me nuts. So, and most caches are very obsessive. So once you go to a place to find a cache, you better find a cache, because we've spent hours sometimes trying to find a single cache. I knew we had a problem when we found ourselves in the woods one night in a bunch of stickers in a pouring down rain, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're calling a friend at 2 o'clock in the morning to ask them if they could help us find this cache. So I was like, I think we got a problem. So, yeah, it was. Oh, well, I digress, though. Here I'm talking about the sizes. Then you have small, which is just like small boxes. They can hold trinkets and things. The standard size was an ammo can. You can find, I've got a table set up outside there with different caches that you can look at. And then there's the large ones, 5 gallons. There's even some that are like 6 feet tall, and like there's these huge caches. They're very elaborate sometimes. Geocacher's creed, just like we have our 5 core values: respect the environment, the art of stealth. That's where you try to avoid muggles. And I tell you what, like the part about like when you're trying to find a cache and you're like at a playground and there's like children around and you're on your phone and you're like, you got to be real careful because they will call the police on you, as I can testify to. And I did testify, so. Oh, there's cash in and trash out. Replace, oh, yeah, a lot of times people will find a cache and they'll be like, I don't think this cache is meant to be in this spot. Well, it probably is. You put the cache back exactly where you found it, exactly how it was. You don't want to tamper with other people's caches. There was a guy, he was called Larry 739 was his caching name, and he was famous for when he'd go out and couldn't find a cache in 2 minutes, he'd just throw down an extra cache. He'd always just carry these caches. So a lot of the term got all around the caching community was, I'm going to 739 that cache, and that would mean that you're just throwing down a cache. So it's frowned upon. Oh, this is in. So there are caches everywhere. There are caches on the space station. The Mars rover has a cache on it. There's also a cache on the top of Everest. Very few people have signed any of those. But if you ever get a chance to sign one of those, I suggest you do it. Here's just the things that you need. This is back in the day, you had to, when we first started out caching, you had to buy a GPS, and these can cost anywhere from $100 to, back then they were like $1,000 sometimes. But you had to have one of these. You had to go on your computer. You would download what was called a GPX file, and you'd have to load it all on here. So it had to all be preloaded. Well, then along comes the phones, and you can just download an app now, and it shows you all the geocaches in the area. So you don't have to preload it. You can preload your phone with a GPX file if you're going like out of the country where you're not going to have internet access. And so we've cached in Uganda. We've gotten them on the equator. We've several different countries. But in those cases, you kind of have to plan ahead. But nowadays, you can just cache with your phone. Swag bag, we always travel, we always have a bag of stuff so we can put them in the caches. We don't normally take things out of caches because I'm not 12. Well, some people think I might be, but. And the number one accessory for caching is a ballpoint pen, a pen. You need a pen. You got to sign the, as we discussed earlier, you have to sign the log. Some people are so serious that if their pen doesn't work, they'll like use a stick. One lady signed in blood apparently, which I thought was a little gross, but I don't recommend that one. Okay. This is just kind of the steps if you want to get involved. First, you need to download the official app. Groundspeak is kind of the main geocaching company out there, and it's just geocaching.com. They have an app. I don't really think it's the best app. We use an app called CGeo, and I'll talk about that here in a minute. Then all you do is use your device, navigate to it. You get out of the car and you go, hey, that pile of sticks looks very suspicious. And then you go sign the cache. And signing the log is the final step. This is a slide I put in just to take up some time in case I needed it. How am I on time? 1 minute. Oh, then I didn't need this slide at all. This is just a caching page. This is a cache near our house. It has, it'll tell you the difficulty ratings, 1 to 5. A 1 difficult rating means it's got to be handicap accessible, so you have to be able to get to it with a wheelchair. And it just goes up from there. 5 starts to mean that you might need a ladder, you might need extra equipment, and they'll tell you sometimes if you need equipment. Sometimes you need to lug in water because you have to pour the water in and float something up in order to unlock the cache. There's a lot of very complicated caches out there, a lot of creative people. And this is also, when you go to log it, you can see who's logged it. And you can read the comments of the people that found it before you and see if you want to go. You can also give favorite points to caches. Sometimes we'll cache, and I'll just look at ones that have like a high number of favorite points. Because a lot of them are just, you just drive up and it's just there. And then there's other ones you have to take hikes for. So there's all different stuff. You can actually tell, if you look at a city, you can kind of tell the neighborhoods you might not want to go into because there'll be no caches there. So there'll be like a big spot with like no cache. You're like, I don't think I want to go to dinner there. So, but I usually do anyway because those are the fun spots. But and here is the CGO is the app that I use. You just download it. You have to have a membership on one of the geocaching sites so you can pull up the caches. It looks like Buzzkill 2, that's us. We have found 6,213 caches, it says. So, really, that's a lot of caches. We actually, one of our friends she's like the most prolific geocacher in the whole world. I got to wrap it up, but she's found like millions of caches. She's like crazy. Yes, we have one in our front yard. This is Kansas City. They have a Facebook page. Go ahead and take a look at that. Here's Sally was a centerfold a while back. This is it, the First to Find magazine. I'm sure there's tens of people that are reading this magazine, but this is one of Sally's creative containers. It's a mushroom. We had one we called Fun Guy because it was a fungus. So, here's another one real quick. This is a bolt cache. It's just a magnetic bolt, and it'll stick anywhere. So they're really hard to find. And that's it. Time for that's not my job. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. That's really interesting. Okay, time for the coffee break. During the coffee break, try to introduce yourself to someone you don't know. Please pick up a handout in the lobby from our featured speaker. And you can see the TV over the center doors for more upcoming events and information. We'll see you back here in 20 minutes. Thank you. Okay, welcome back. Let's welcome Jack back for another song. Jack, do you have any shows coming up that you'd like to tell us about?
Well, after this, I'm playing at the Union Hill Garden Show. So I'm going to go right there after I play here.
Oh, nice.
And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be in Columbia, Missouri. If you have any people there, you can send my way. As far as other local shows for a little bit, nothing comes to mind, but I'll get them on my website.
Thank you. Keep an eye out for you.
So I just recently put out a record called Cons the Prairie Hymnal. It is an album loosely based and inspired by the great state of Kansas. And I'm not from Kansas, but if I have any choice, I will die in Kansas. They have a little bit better hospital system over there. Take me to KU, don't take me to Truman. Truman's good at some things. But anyway, I want him to give it the good old college try. This song is called Ad Astra. It's named after the Kansas State motto, per aspera, ad astra, to the stars through hardships. It goes like this. I'm leaving tomorrow for a date with the stars in the world's fastest hot air balloon. Keep the George Strait cassette tape I left in your car, 'cause I won't be back anytime soon. And buy cheap libations from the Texaco station off of southbound I-35, and come bid adieu to the man you once knew as I set off on the ride of my life. Per aspera, ad astra, I'm a propane-propelled pioneer. Per aspera, ad astra, our problems look small from up here. My vessel will fly through these October skies to give me an aerial view from the Sea of Japan to the Grand Coulee Dam. Sayonara, my terrestrial blues. And I'll turn the page on the wars that we waged as I float on lighter than air, and remember you best in that blue satin dress as you danced through Lafayette Square. Per aspera, ad astra, I'm a propane-propelled pioneer. Per aspera, ad astra, our problems look small from up here. So I'm thankful for my worst mistakes. They're the ones that brought me here. And every time my heart did break, my journey got a little more clear. Per aspera, ad astra, I'm a propane-propelled pioneer. per aspirin at Astra. Our problems look small from up here. And one day the wind will blow me back again, and I'll slowly float down from the moon. And I'll see you with bells and a story to tell from the world's fastest hot air balloon.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, now it's time for our main speaker. Please note that our program is designed to generate conversation and engage our powers of reason, not as a forum to start debates. The following presentation has been prepared by our speaker and not by KC Oasis. Please respect the views of our speaker, and if you have any questions, a Q&A portion will follow as time permits. Alyssa Carter serves as program director at KCMO Angels, where she's been a guiding force for the past 5 years. She brings extensive experience in Missouri's child welfare system, beginning in 2011 as an investigator responding to the Child Abuse and Neglect Hotline, followed by a decade assessing, training, and overseeing licensure of foster and relative homes across the greater Kansas City area. Her deep understanding of the system informs her work at KCMO Angels, helping to build strong, trauma-enforced programs and meaningful connections for youth and families. Please welcome Alyssa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I would like to start my time with you today with a story. Imagine being 4 years old, and suddenly no longer living with your mother or your brother. You don't have your favorite blanket or your toys. You don't see your grandma anymore, and no one can explain why in a way that makes sense to you. You're in a stranger's home now, a new room, new bed, new smells, new food. New rules you don't understand. You're scared, so you cry. You throw things, you shut down. You refuse to eat, and you act out because you don't know what else to do with all the feelings inside of you, or all the questions you don't have words for. And then you overhear pieces of adult conversations, words like behaviors, too much, can't do this. And just like that, you're moved again. Another new house, another new set of strangers, more unfamiliar food, more rules you don't understand. And those behaviors everyone keeps talking about, they get bigger, louder, harder, because you still don't understand why any of this is happening. This pattern repeats. One house, then another, and another. Each time, the same message settles deeper. Why does no one stay? Why am I always the one who has to go? By 10 years old, you're placed in something called residential care because no more families can be found to say yes. And that's where you stay. 4 long years until you're 14 and finally meet the goals required for a foster home to take a chance on you again. But even then, the only ways you've ever known to express fear or sadness or confusion are still labeled as too much. So you move again and again until eventually you're old enough to qualify for what's called a transitional living program, a place designed to help you work towards independence. Except you don't feel independent. You don't feel capable. You don't even know what you're good at, what you like, or who you want to be. Then one day, someone asks you about a mentor, someone who will help you meet some of these goals. So you figure, why not? I guess I could use all the help I could get. So you meet her. It's awkward at first because meeting new people has never meant safety. But she seems genuinely interested in getting to know you. On your very first visit, she learns that you've never been to a movie theater and that your favorite movie is Lilo and Stitch. So the next time she sees you, she takes you to the new live action version in the theater. And something as simple as sitting in a dark room, eating popcorn, watching a movie on a giant screen feels life-changing. The next time you see her, because you love animals and mentioned you might want to work in a shelter someday, she takes you to one. You talk to staff about volunteering. For the first time, you can imagine yourself doing something you might actually enjoy. She texts, she calls, she checks in, and slowly, without even realizing it, you start opening up. You start feeling seen, because every time you share something, she follows through. She shows up. She keeps showing up. One day, after a typical hangout and going on a Walmart run for some hygiene items and some dinner together, she says something funny in the car, and you laugh out loud, and it surprises you because you can't remember the last time you let someone close enough to hear you laugh. So you tell her, I think I'm starting to trust you. And something shifts. You start caring about your goals. You start believing you might actually reach them. You only needed 8 more credits to graduate high school. With just a month left, you had almost given up. But your mentor kept encouraging you, kept building your confidence, reminding you that you were capable. And you did it. You graduated. And the story doesn't end there. With your mentor's support, you met every goal required to age out of foster care. Successfully. You moved into your own apartment. You adopted a dog, which is a source of joy, comfort, and emotional support that you had never experienced before. And with your mentor's help, that dog is now registered as an emotional support animal, so he can stay with you in your new home. Today, you're living independently. You're building a life you once weren't sure you'd ever have. And your mentor is still there. Your advocate, your voice of reason, your sounding board as you navigate new relationships and the everyday challenges of adulthood. This is what happens when Connections steps into the gaps of foster care. This is what happens when someone finally stays. Stories like hers are not rare in foster care. They are far more common than any of us would hope. And they are exactly why the work of KCMO Angels matters so deeply. As you pictured her journey, what emotions came up for you? What parts of her story made you wish someone had stepped in sooner or stayed longer? Hearing her story, what gaps did you notice? What moments did you think, this is where a caring adult could have changed everything? Because the truth is, this is not just a story. This is a real young person whose life was profoundly impacted by KCMO Angels. A youth who finally had someone stay, someone show up, someone believe in her. And that single, consistent relationship changed the entire trajectory of her life. And while her story isn't the reason KCMO Angels was founded, she is exactly why it was. Long before KCMO Angels existed, a woman named Susan Ramirez heard a story she couldn't shake. It was a story about 2 boys experiencing foster care. Their experiences were nearly identical. Both faced instability, trauma, and constant change. But there was one key difference. One boy had a consistent, caring adult who showed up for him again and again and refused to give up. The other did not. Years later, their lives look very different. The young man who did not have a steady, supportive adult in his life died by suicide shortly after aging out of foster care. For the other young man, that one consistent relationship changed everything. That story didn't just stay with Susan. It moved her to action. She became determined to ensure that every child experiencing foster care had at least one caring adult in their corner, and National Angels was born from that belief. Through Susan's action, that same belief reached Kansas City through Ann Walton, who felt called to bring that mission to our community here in KCMO. And today, stories like the young woman you met at the beginning of this presentation are proof of what happens when that belief becomes reality. And many more of those stories are happening right here in our own community. And now, before I tell you more about that impact, let me introduce myself. My name is Alyssa Carter, and I'm the program director at KCMO Angels. I've spent the last 15 years working within the child welfare system here in Kansas City, beginning in 2011 when I worked as an investigator responding to the child abuse and neglect unit before, again, spending nearly a decade licensing foster homes throughout the greater Kansas City area. Because of this experience, I've had the privilege of seeing the system from many different perspectives. And through each role, one thing became increasingly clear. Children and families experiencing foster care need more than services. They need connection, support, and people who walk alongside them. I joined KCMO Angels shortly after our chapter launched in 2020, and since then, I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand what happens when children, youth, and caregivers are surrounded by consistent support and healthy relationships. I'm honored to be the recommended speaker today, and I'm excited to share more about KCMO Angels, the families and youth that we serve, and why this work matters so much, not just to me, but to our entire community. Right now, there are over 2,000 kids experiencing foster care right here in Kansas City, Missouri. And they're facing statistics no child should ever have to carry, especially not because of circumstances beyond their control. Foster family homes are closing at alarming rates, with over half of new homes closing their doors within the first year, noting the lack of support as the primary cause. Our mission at KCMO Angels is a bold one. We want to reach every single one of them with consistent support, healthy relationships, and a community that actively shows up. Because here's the reality. Foster care is isolating for both caregivers and children. Additionally, the gaps between a foster youth and their peers are not just financial. They are foundational. Many of us grew up with an invisible safety net, and we likely took it for granted. But youth experiencing foster care are navigating a tightrope completely alone. Think about the difference that makes. Take school, for instance. While a typical teenager is focusing on what college they want to go to, a youth experiencing foster care is just trying to survive changing schools for the third time in a single year. We've worked with brilliant young adults who enter community college and have to teach themselves basic skills like how to format an essay, simply because no one was there to catch them up on the things that they missed when moving house to house, or even notice what they were missing. And then there's the identity. Most 18-year-olds launch into adulthood with a pretty good sense of who they are. Why? Because they've had years of family movie nights, consistent friendships, and the safety to figure things out. But we meet 18-year-olds experiencing foster care who genuinely cannot tell you what they enjoy, what they're good at, or what they want to do tomorrow. They've never had the security required to just be a kid. When you don't have a stable family, you don't just lose a roof over your head. You lose the luxury of dreaming. You lose the space to explore, and you lose out on learning basic life skills that the rest of us take for granted. Too often, foster care becomes the identity placed on a child. We believe foster care is only an experience, not who they are. And by reshaping that experience, we help rewrite the story they carry. Our programs are showing us another possibility for these kids experiencing foster care. They are showing us graduations, confidence, landing jobs, planning out a future, working through trauma in healthy ways, and at the center of that transformation is something simple but powerful: consistent, intentional relationships. So we have two programs that we offer to the foster care community: Love Box and Dare to Dream. And in both these programs, we believe deeply in a one-size-fits-one approach. Every child, every caregiver, every story is different. And our programs are designed to honor that. Our 3 pillars guide us: intentional giving, relationship building, and mentorship. Intentional giving means we don't offer generic support. We tailor what we provide to meet the unique needs of each family. Relationship building means we invest in authentic, consistent connection, because trust looks different for every child and every family and grows at its own pace. And mentorship, because we match youth with caring adults who see them, know them, and walk alongside them in a way that fits their personality, their goals, and their lived experience. This is why our model works. It's not mass-produced care. It's individualized, responsive, and rooted in the belief that every child and fostering family deserves support that is as unique as they are. Through Dare to Dream, we match youth with mentors who show up, who listen, and walk alongside them as they plan for a future that can be anything they can dream it can be. Through Lovebox, we surround families with practical support and community, so caregivers aren't doing this alone, and they have real support and resources to keep fostering and create stability for kids. And we are not just hoping this works, we're measuring it. Our belief in this model isn't enough. We want to show its power. In 2024, we launched Customer First Measurement to capture the impact that we see every day. Our programs are built around 3 core goals: placement stability, relational permanency, and normalcy. Over the last 2 years of measurement, we've seen a 66% increase in placement stability across both Lovebox and Dare to Dream. This means that there have been fewer disruptions and more consistency for kids who have already experienced too much change. Our volunteers and mentors are equipping both youth and caregivers with tools to navigate the system, which has led to an 80% increase in child welfare knowledge. And when it comes to relational permanency, the relationships that last beyond the system, we saw a 73% increase through Lovebox and 50% through Dare to Dream. For normalcy and well-being, we saw a 93% increase, meaning that caregivers reported children in their home feel a greater sense of belonging, love, friendship, and support since being involved in KCMO Angels programming. So looking back at these statistics and noticing that 50% of our fostering families closed their doors within the first year, and that we've seen a 66% increase in that placement, in that foster parent retention, it becomes clear that when families feel supported through Lovebox, they keep showing up. This is what happens when consistent relationships are paired with real, tangible support. And I want to make that real for you, because statistics tell us what's happening, but stories show us what it feels like. Let me introduce you to a foster mama we've had the privilege of walking alongside for the last 3 years. Midway through her fostering journey, she faced a sudden and unexpected divorce. In the middle of an already difficult season of fostering, her world was quite literally turned upside down. Most people in this situation would have to stop fostering, which results in children in care being moved yet again, but not this mom. In fact, she later told us, "I could have never kept fostering without my Lovebox leaders." She told us at another point, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." And the truth is, without support, that's where a lot of placements end and where instability continues. But through Lovebox, a team of volunteers began showing up consistently, not to fix everything, but to just be present. They brought meals during the hardest weeks. They showed up just to sit and listen. They reminded her over and over again, you're not in this alone. And over time, something shifted. She didn't feel like she was carrying everything by herself anymore. And because of that, she stayed. Those children didn't have to pack their bags again. Sorry, this story is near and dear to my heart. They didn't have to learn a new home, a new school, or a new set of rules. They didn't have to wonder, how long will this one last? They got to stay, and they were adopted last year. That is what a 66% increase in placement stability looks like. That's what relational permanency looks like, and that's what it means to create a 93% increase in normalcy in a situation that is anything but normal. That's the difference this makes. And what makes this work so impactful is something you can't manufacture. Kids know the difference between someone who's paid to be there and someone who chooses to be there, and that choice matters. In our Dare to Dream program, we've seen youth accomplish incredible things with the support of a mentor. They've secured jobs, they've opened savings accounts, they've graduated high school, started college, earned driving permits. They're practicing driving. They've had someone show up just to have someone in their corner during a big transition. Many have discovered new interests, explored trades they're interested in, and begun dreaming about careers they never imagined before. We've had mentors attend these graduations, their birthday parties. We've had youth say, you make me feel seen, and you're the person I want to call when something good happens. One mentor shared with us that she knew that her mentee had begun to trust her the first time she made her laugh. Afterwards, the youth turned to look at her with a smile still on her face and said, I think I'm starting to trust you. For a young person who once trusted no one, that kind of connection is an incredible honor, and exactly why this work matters. Our approach is rooted in a trust-based relational intervention, also known as TBRI. It is a trauma-informed model grounded in decades of attachment science, sensory processing research, and neuroscience. While the intervention is built on years of rigorous study, the heartbeat of TBRI is connection. We often hear people ask, why does this child keep making the same choices? Or why doesn't this youth trust anyone? So here's what the science tells us. The brain is still wiring and rewiring itself well into a young person's 20s. That means every safe interaction, every moment of co-regulation, and every healthy relationship has the power to shape how the brain develops. When a child experiences trauma, especially early in life and repeatedly, the developing brain adapts for survival. The part of the brain responsible for identifying danger becomes overactivated, keeping the child in a constant state of fight, flight, or freeze. The part responsible for memory, learning, and making sense of experiences can become impaired, making it harder to process events or feel grounded in the present. And when the brain spends too much time in survival mode, the areas responsible for reasoning, emotional regulation, impulse control, and connection don't fully develop as intended. In other words, children learn to survive before they ever get the chance to feel safe. But here's the hopeful truth. The brain is remarkably adaptable. It can change. It can heal. Every healthy relationship, every moment of consistency, every adult who stays helps build new pathways for trust, regulation, and resilience. This is why our work matters so deeply. When we change a child's relational experience, we aren't just offering support. We're helping create the conditions for healing, growth, and a future no longer defined by trauma, but by connection, safety, and possibility. It reinforces a powerful truth. The effects of trauma are real, but they are not final. Healing is possible, growth is possible, change is possible, and it happens through connection. Through consistent, safe relationships, new patterns are formed, ones that begin to rewire the brain over time. Because when a young person experiences someone who shows up, stays, and responds with care instead of control, it starts to reshape what they expect from others and what they believe about themselves. That they are safe, that they matter, and that they do not have to do life alone. But it doesn't happen through programs alone. It happens through people, through consistency, patience, through showing up over and over again. So as our chapter continues to grow, the need is clear. Today, we have 72 children waiting, not waiting for a program, waiting for a person, waiting for someone who will show up, stay, and help them believe their future can be bigger than their past. This growth requires resources, it requires volunteers, it requires investment, because more support means more staff, and more staff means more kids served. We won't stop until we've reached every one of the 2,000 children experiencing foster care in our community. If what you learned today has moved you, and you know that you could help change the future of kids right here in Kansas City, we have 3 ways for you to get involved. You can volunteer, become the consistent presence for a foster family or teen, just like the ones you heard about today. You can give. We have many ways you can give, but the gift that keeps on giving is becoming a monthly donor. Did you know that $50 a month for a year supports a mentor teen match? And finally, if you can't give time or money right now, you can give us your voice. Follow us on social media, but don't just like our posts, although we love that. When we share a waitlist need, ask yourself, who do I know? And share it. You might be the exact bridge between a foster youth and the mentor they've been waiting for. Because here's the truth. Not everyone is called to foster or adopt, but everyone can make the difference in a child's life. This is about social responsibility, not individually, but collectively. It's about deciding as a community that these kids will not fall through the cracks, that their stories will not end in isolation and become a statistic. So now that you've heard our story, and you've seen the ways these programs are transforming the lives of children, youth, and families experiencing foster care, I want to leave you with one final thought. Somewhere in Kansas City today, there's a 4-year-old entering a stranger's home for the first time. Somewhere, there's a teenager trying to decide if anyone can be trusted. Somewhere, there's a foster parent wondering how much longer they can keep going. And somewhere, there's a child who is one caring adult away from believing their future can be different. The question isn't whether these children exist. The question is whether they'll have someone who shows up, someone who stays, and someone who believes in them. And the question for all of us, what part will we play in it? Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. I'll pass the mic around as people have questions. Just a reminder, please state your question as a question.
I'm just curious about the figure about 50% of foster homes will close in a year. What's the is it money? Is it just they can't handle it? Is it lack of what's the main
lack of
reason?
support?
Lack of support.
Yeah.
From
the system itself. A lot of our families are expected to care for the kids, but not welcome to have an opinion, or they're like when they bond with kids and they are the ones caring every day. When they attend court, they attend, family service meetings. It's like seen, you're not heard. Like they're completely isolated in that room. In addition, in the community, foster care is very hard to understand. And while they might have supportive friends or family members, the gaps of foster care are very real, and sometimes people can't relate to them, so it can be really isolating. So that is where we bring in community members that we train and we empower to really stand in that gap. So, great question.
Hi, over here.
Hi.
How does a youth get paired up with a mentor? Because they're not asking themselves, right?
Great question. Some of our youth do self-refer. Referrals can come from anywhere. They can come from teachers, they can come from their foster care case managers, it can come from their foster caregiver. Really, anywhere that there is a need, we can get a referral, and then we contact the youth from there, and just really ensure a cornerstone of the program is that a youth has a personal investment in having a mentor. And in the world of foster care, oftentimes our kids don't have a choice in what they're being told to do or what they need to do or where they're living. And so we really value their autonomy of choice in that as well. So we have a very open conversation with them. We want them to choose the program. It's not forced. So, great question. We've got another question right here.
Thank you so much for the work that you do. I think it's so important.
Thank you.
My question is really, what's the overlap in the work that you do with other organizations with similar but not the same missions? So one that comes to mind is CASA. If you could explain just the overlap and distinctions.
My favorite question. I love that. We are very much community partners with other organizations. There are other organizations that do amazing work, and we believe as an organization that it takes all of us. We are not a one size fits all. We are a one size fits one. We are very unique. And we can't do that alone. So we partner with CASA. We partner with Chafee workers, if anybody's familiar with KC Cares. They have a link program that we partner really well with, Foster Light, Foster Kids KC. There's a lot of amazing organizations in the community that do very different things than we do. And so where that overlaps, we share, and we make sure we're connecting families and youth to those resources. Great question.
Any other questions?
I was just wondering, Angels, you're not a religious organization.
Correct.
How do you balance the mentor with the religious versus non-religious? Is there?
Yes, so we serve youth and families from all walks of life, all beliefs, really anywhere. We know that everybody has their own story, their own experience. We are very mindful and intentional when we match either love box leaders with families or mentors with youth. Something that when youth share that they have, a gender identity, a certain belief, mentors, we value that as well, and we pair that very intentionally with how they can relate, how they can find a common ground, essentially. Does that answer your question? Okay, I can go a lot deeper than that, so I just want to make sure.
Okay. Thank you. If anybody has any more questions, I'm sure we can approach Alyssa after after our gathering.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, in just a moment, I'll be passing the volunteer task cards baskets. Please grab one that you can accomplish today after our meeting concludes, and once you've finished the task, return that note card to the done purple box in the lobby near the drink station. All the cleaning supplies you might need are in the white cabinet in the foyer, right by the lemonade. We need everyone to help keep this place looking great. So here you go. Join us for lunch to continue the conversation at the Martin City Brewery in South Plaza. Next week, our featured speaker will be Steve Perrin on what we'll do with all the churches. Our musical guest will be Steve Morton, and our community moment from JJ Control. While our musician is coming back to the stage, we'd like to thank all those who are monthly donors that help keep Oasis running. Kansas City Oasis is a 501c3 nonprofit run solely on donations and volunteers. If you like the topics and music today, please consider donating through kcoasis.org/donate or by Venmo. Our Venmo information can be found at the merch table in the lobby, as well as cash donation jars. Recurring monthly donations through our website are most helpful. Okay, here's Jack for one last song. As a reminder, there's a cash tip jar on the stage and Venmo if you'd like to support his music.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Every time I come here, I have a great time. It's a wonderful community, and you guys do a lot of cool things. But it is time to say goodbye, and in this part of the world, we have a tradition where we take just a little bit too long to say goodbye sometimes. And I have a friend who lives in New York who recently came through on tour through the Midwest, and she texted me one night and she said, "These people never shut up. I'm trying to leave. They won't let me leave." And I was like, "Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. The last few times we've spoken on the phone, you've said goodbye and then you hung up." And I'm like, "That's just rude. You're supposed to say goodbye, and then you're supposed to tell me what you're going to do tomorrow, and then you're supposed to tell me, what the weather's like, where you are, and then we're supposed to go on for about 15 more minutes, and then you say, well, I got to get going, and then you can do it a little bit longer, and then you can hang up." But it's just like, she would say, "Okay, goodbye." And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. So I had to give her a little lesson in the Midwestern goodbye. That e-cigarette and your mobile phone, things that you can't leave behind when you go. And if it weren't for work and the weekends, you swear that you could throw them away and just say goodbye for good. It might feel like you're stuck here forever, but darling, it don't hurt to try. Just know when you're singing a swan song and when it's a lullaby, and just let go. All we get is time, and life's too short for Midwestern goodbyes. That Honda Accord, made in 2003, that you ran off K10 right into an elm tree. You took your senior pictures perched up on that hood. Can still see them towed away as you say goodbye for good. Well, the glory days don't last forever, but the bad times go away too. See the dogwoods drop leaves in the winter and wait for the redbuds to bloom. And just let go. All we get is time, and life's too short for Midwestern goodbyes. that box that I keep stashed under my bed, filled with some letters that you've never read. I once tried to burn them, but they're like a stump of green wood. Still someday I pray that I'll say goodbye for good. They say broken hearts take a bit longer. We'll know when the moment is right. You left me there at the altar, and then we went out the next Saturday night. And we'll let go. It's okay to take this slow. We've got time for a Midwestern goodbye. And we'll let go. All things heal in time. And I guess love needs a Midwestern goodbye. Needs a Midwestern goodbye. Oh, I best get going. Needs a Midwestern goodbye. Just one more beer. Needs a Midwestern goodbye. I've been Jack Summers. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Jack. Okay, before we head out, please take a few minutes to help clean up. Again, we'd like to thank this week's presenters, Alyssa and Mark, and our musician, Jack, and thank you all for being here or tuning on online. See you next week.